straight guys of Reddit, what's the most intimate moment you've had with another guy?
Intimate. Interesting.
But you know how like high school, like you and your friends would give like just friends blowjobs to each other? Like that's pretty
like do you like, you know, I've kissed plenty of dudes. That's like but that's not like none of them were intimate. You know what I mean?
That might be the most intimate you've gotten, though, even if it was tongue.
No, because like I would consider like
with your dad or your grandpa or something.
Yeah, like I consider like I've had conversations that I consider more intimate than a kiss, right? Like I know that I feel like that's not a far-fetched idea here.
Here's one.
Like a lot of these kisses were drunk for shock value, you know, and then
intimate and sex aren't the same thing.
Kisses, not all of them.
So, give me the floor. Let me read this.
Yeah.
One of my best friends came to visit me a while ago while I was living in Colorado. We woke up super early in the middle of January and got to see the sunrise over the mountains and do a little photography. It's freezing balls out, and we just spent an hour outside to get the perfect shot. And at a certain point, I couldn't feel my hands anymore, so we decided to go back to the car and warm up. Just as we get into the car, the sun is at an amazing angle, barely shining over the mountain. He made a joke about how romantic it was, so I doubled down and grabbed his hand. At a certain point, we just forgot we were doing that, and we watched the sun come over the mountain. The birds were chirping, and a little baby deer was having a hard time climbing up the side of the hill, and we were just in awe. And we spent the morning holding hands and watching the sunrise. We've both been in and out of relationships then, but it's the most romantic moment I've been a part of. When I started that, I didn't know the hand holding was going to be a thing.
Like, come on, man. Like that sounds like just the way you described it. That was a very special moment for him. Like he has details down to a T. He's played this back in his dreams.
Here's the one.
Dude, that sounds like a
sillier
version of that copy pasta. Like that from 4chan where they're like, so I was pranking my bro the other day.
Yeah.
And so I pull his pants down and we're both cracking up. And so I put his dick in my mouth and I start sucking and we're roaring with laughing because it's choo-choo because it's fun to play pranks on your friends. You know, and it's like that. Like that's
Here's the
that's
one
what I'm imagining.
I was on a trip with a buddy. He's an avid climber. The mountain we climbed together with the guide was way over my skill level, but I couldn't tell that till halfway up. It was sheer ice. My buddy had paid a lot to be on this trip, and I was doing some glacier climbing and was invited to come with for free. All right. Twice, I froze in terror, clinging to the side of the mountain with just axes and my crampons tethered to my best friend and the guide, and then the ice anchor. I couldn't move. It was a combination of exhaustion and fear. I wept, and my buddy never once grew frustrated, even though I was definitely fucking up his trip. He stayed calm and just said, "Buddy, you aren't going to fall because I won't let you fall. Even if you do, you're attached to me, and I sure as shit will never let you fall. After that, I'm attached to the guide, and he's attached to the mountain. You are safer now than you are in your car every day. Now breathe and swing that fucking axe as hard as you can and start moving." I did it. After 10 hours, we reached the summit for the most earned view of my life. 10 hours, Jesus. I hugged my childhood friend. We rappelled down the other face in the dark with headlamps. I had no fear. I felt alive. He'll forever be my brother. That's the one I was looking for. Like, it's an intimate moment. It wasn't sex, though.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like that's fine. That's just you shared a moment like that. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a funny answer. I feel like the real answer would be some talk I've had with my dad at some point in my life. Like none are jumping to mind, but that would have to be like the most intimate thing with another man, like a heart to heart with your dad or grandpa or something.
Yeah, I don't really. There's nothing that jumps out at me. There's no standout moment.
The kisses, yeah, which were tongue in cheek. Well, literally.
They were just pranks, bro.
It's just a social experiment.
Just trying
How
to get
big
a
of a
rise out of
boner
people.
can I get using only your mouth? How about you, Kyle? What's the most intimate thing you've ever done with a group of men naked?
Put a little spice on that meal.
I know, a little curveball.
Does it have to be a group of men, or is it just a
No,
man?
it's literally just with a guy is what it's supposed to be.
I don't know. I guess I've talked to guys who have been in war, and they've told me really emotional, like rough stories. They've like kind of opened up to me about like how bad war was and friends dying and that sort of thing. And so I've had some tough like emotional conversations with guys about that. So that probably something like that. Probably talking to a couple of friends who had been to Iraq or Afghanistan, and roadside bombs had blown friends up, or they had killed someone, and that sort of thing. Like having those are very real talks.
Yeah, even
that I always like to throw a little punchline in, like because as much that you got to break that extreme tension that gets built when they're talking about friends
death
floating.
You have to like ask questions to like break it up. Like, what's the weather like there? How many people did you kill?
Can you get a good burger?
Can you get a good burger?
Yeah,
Those intimate moments.
What's the Postmates like over there?
That's something I feel like military guys get that never gets rivaled again for the rest of their lives. Right? Like we're all sitting here struggling to even come up with one. And the best we came up with was a secondhand war experience. These guys actually in war, the kind of relationships they develop with each other, like the intensity of the situation, you don't get that again.
I don't know, Woody. I played a lot of paintball, all right? And I'm telling you, when you're pinned down, those paintballs are raining down on that plywood, pop, plop, 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 plop. Your friend's hanging on to your. I'm sorry, hang on. Your friend's hanging on to you. It's like, God, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get out of here? And you've got to. You're as afraid of. You're as afraid as he is.
So you look at the ref, you raise your hand, and ask him to tell them to stop shooting and walk away.
No.
So you shoot yourself in the leg.
You reach over into a pile of paint and goo that used to be your best friend's face. And you feel like you're in Sherwood Williams.
That's brotherhood.
That's brotherhood. See, like I had a minor brotherhood thing.
People ask me, was I a hero at the paintball game? I said no. But I served in a company of heroes.
That's
the last time I was on too.
That's always on. Do you ever have those minor intimate moments? Not necessarily with a man, but with someone else. This happened recently when I was going out of town, where like I'm not super cool, and I'm also too lazy, and I need to do this to get TSA pre-check. I still haven't for some reason. So I was waiting in line to go through, and there's always a retard who takes forever to do it up there. And you always feel like you're the only person who's getting that frustrated, but it's nice when you give that like exasperated, like Jesus Christ, and you like lock eyes with another guy, which I did, and he gave me like a knowing nod, like like that shake of his head. He was like, yeah, this guy, if you weren't going to fucking Portland, I wouldn't buy you a beer. They're $9 and I got to rush to my gate, but it was good to see you. Never see you again. Did you ever think of things like that? Like where you see someone, it's the last time you'll ever see them again. Like you'll sit at an airport or like at a restaurant, like you meet someone or bar, and like you get along well, and then you leave and you don't think about it for a couple of days, and you're like, man, Ted or whoever was really a cool guy, and I will never see him again as long as I live. Does that like?
I was on a weird airplane flight home from. It was like 6 years ago or something. I was a YouTuber. Big, full into the YouTube thing at the time. And he was next to me on the plane. I forget how we got to talking, but he eventually totally opened up to me. His girlfriend had just cheated on him, and they had a kid together. And he tried to make it work for a little while, and it seemed like he couldn't. He couldn't see her in the same way he did before, knowing that she cheated on him. He was visualizing it, but he has this kid, but they're not married, and like there is, and he was just torn apart trying to figure out how to handle this relationship that she had broken, and it was so heavy that
that's too much for me.
Yeah. I made a
like
YouTube video about it, actually, and two other YouTubers, I'm not going to call them out, but they were like, dude, that video was excellent, and it hit close to home for them, and it was crazy.
Pussy.
Either subscribe, donate,
pause right there,
or get the fuck out.